Alright guys, so we have a mystery kind of movie. And by all means, I love these type of movies because that means they're either going to be really, really good or they're going to be really, really shitty. So with that being said, let's go ahead and let's see how this movie turned out.
Hi, I'm Albert.
Hi, I'm Danny.
Hi, I'm Jazz.
Hi, I'm Toby.
From T-Gamer-State.
The Girl on the Train, guys. Alright, so right off the bat, I'm gonna say that there's gonna be this movie is complicated. Alright, it is complicated, not in that way, but in the way that I'm thinking about it, because this movie's a little bit confusing. Now, I don't necessarily always take into consideration what everybody else says about a movie. I tend to always just stick with what I know and let that be the case. However, on social media, I've seen that IGN and several other critics have given this movie about a 6 out of 10, and I want to say that I don't agree with what they have to say about this movie. Now, with that being said, this movie has its flaws, and we'll talk about them. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and let's jump straight into the plot about this movie. So, the plot of this movie begins with Emily Blunt's character, and right away, it starts off with narration, and I have to say that the narration was very soft-spoken, and sometimes you just did not know what they were saying. It kind of felt kind of mumbly kind of stuff. Didn't really like that at all. Emily Blunt's character takes this train every single morning from where she is living with a friend all the way to Manhattan and then back home. Every day she passes by her old house where she used to live with her ex-husband and his new wife. And just a couple houses down, there is this couple, which brings us to our next character, which is inconsistent in this movie. But we'll get to that later. Character, as well as this other guy, don't know, I forgot his name, but they live a couple houses down, and she sees them every single day. She kind of already knows everything that she has thought of in her mind. Her character is drunk about almost half of the movie, and she's just making all these like little assumptions about them, just trying to pretend to know them, and she sees things, you know, every day. Like it's just absolutely just insane. But she kind of knows them in a way. So one day she sees interacting in a very romantic type of way with this other character, and she just completely loses her mind. She gets in a furious rage, and she gets drunk again, like a little bit more than she normally does, but she is still very drunk. And a series of events that ends up leading to the main part of the movie pretty much begins this crazy train of a movie. Let's go ahead and let's talk about some of the characters. Like I said, Emily Blunt's character, she is drunk about half the time of this movie, and I gotta say that Emily Blunt was not as good acting-wise during that half of the movie. Now I'm saying that because what happens to her character in the last half of the movie, her acting just completely just elevates. And I understand why it's like that, but it's kind of like the motivation that they gave Emily Blunt's character. Like, she's just sad, depressed, drunk, can't figure anything out, just a complete mess. And Emily Blunt does portray that very, very well, but her acting just doesn't come through a whole lot, and it just feels like she could be doing better. It's hard to describe. I want to say that her character came across, or her acting came across, you know, a little bit subdued. Again, it kind of felt like Emily Blunt, a little bit of Emily Blunt's character was like this throughout the entire movie. The only part excepting like the very last bit at the end, where there was a lot of actual emotion and intensity, and that is what I was looking forward to throughout the entire movie, and that didn't happen. There are other characters, but we don't really need to get into those. They did okay. When you're trying to make this movie all about the characters, you have to develop some type of connection with them, and that's the one problem that I have to just say to you guys. I did not feel an initial connection with any of these characters. Did not feel any connection. I really didn't care about them. Now, like I said, it was an initial thing. Later on in the movie, I did end up connecting with them. I was like, okay, well, yeah, I'm kind of feeling a little bit of Emily Blunt here, and that kind of brought the movie a little bit more closer together. It did kind of make you care about them. Everybody's gonna be a little bit different about this, of course. So let's talk about the cinematography. This is one of a tiny issue that I kind of have with this movie. I'm not saying that any of the shots were bad, because they weren't. Some of the shots are a little bit more on the sexual nature. There is a lot of nudity in this movie, and there's a lot of sexual acts going on in this movie. I understand why they're there. I understand that they somehow are relevant to the plot. I get it. The only thing is that, and I kind of understand that to a sense, this is a very attractive young actress and, you know, whatever, but you could have just, you know, brought it down just a little bit. I'm pretty sure at some point this movie did have an X rating at, just because how all those scenes just kind of looked. And that also leads to why I didn't really connect with her a whole lot. The ending. Let's talk about the ending. The ending of this movie, it's just an amazing ending. There's gonna be one point in this movie where your jaw will just drop. That literally happened to me while I was watching this movie. And the way this ends is just, it is in a way satisfying, and it's just a good ending to this movie, and it deserved it. So wrapping this whole movie up, do I believe that it deserved all the hate and slack that it did? No, I think this is a very complicated movie, and it's definitely for a more mature audience. But with that being said, I do believe it is still a really good movie. It ends very good. The last half of the movie is really good. The acting picks up. Everything just picks up towards the end, which is how it's supposed to be. The beginning is supposed to be that slow burn because it's a mystery. You're trying to figure everything out, and then just when you think you have everything figured out, you know, it just somehow makes you just think a little bit more, makes things more complicated, just completely throws you for a loop or whatever. So with that being said, I'm gonna have to give this movie a 8 out of 10. This movie is really good. I still recommend people go and watch it if you're into these type of movies. Again, you might not be initially too excited about the beginning, but trust me, you want to stick around for the end. That ending is gonna be freaking, you know, I honestly didn't see it coming. Maybe because I just didn't see it. I didn't get all the clues or whatever. But that's the end of this video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, by all means hit that like button, as well as subscribe to my YouTube channel where we make more videos just like this, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace!